In 2024, Michiganders will head to the polls to cast their vote for senator. For the first time since 2000, Democrat Debbie Stabenow won't be on the ballot. The incumbent senator announced earlier this year that she will retire at the conclusion of her fourth term.
Now, since the announcement, two Republicans have entered the race, Nikki Snyder and Michael Hoover, as well as Democratic businessman Nasir Beydoun, all of which who have joined us over the past week here on CBS News Detroit at 5 to discuss their upcoming campaigns.
And here with us tonight is U.S. Representative Elissa Slotkin from Lansing, who has been in the House since 2019. Thank you for being with us tonight,
Thanks
Elissa.
for having me.
Yeah.
You have spent almost your entire career in politics. You have a lot of experience. Why run for Senate? Why now?
Yeah, actually, I was not in politics for the majority of my career. I'm a former CIA officer and Pentagon official, so I was working in the national security world and only got into elected politics. This is my 6th year in this business. I think we were all surprised when Senator Stabenow announced she wasn't running again. She's been amazing and has represented the state for over 50 years straight. And so when I thought about whether I would run or not, to me, what was most important is doing something to preserve the middle class in Michigan and in the country. I'm a big believer that in a multiracial, multi-ethnic country, we have to have a strong middle class, and it's gotten harder to get in and stay in the middle class. So those are the things I want to work on when I'm in the Senate.
And Elissa, when it comes to your opponents, what sets you apart?
So I think it's both substance and style. Substance-wise, I've been in the job as a congresswoman for 4 years, passing legislation in a bipartisan way on things like prescription drugs, making more things in America. I'm obsessed with supply chains and making sure we make more things here in Michigan. To me, the price of healthcare is always going to be something that I work on. It's very personal to me because of my personal experience with my mom. As someone who's had to deal with a bunch of crises, right? I represented both Oxford High School and Michigan State University, so 2 school shootings. To me, those are the issues on substance that I've had experience on, and I know how to negotiate across the aisle and get things done. But then on style, right? Given my national security background, I believe that you should work with anyone who's willing to come to the table, right? Anyone who's willing to negotiate in good faith. And I believe in fighting for people, listening, and then actually doing something. And to me, leadership is extremely important. I still think it matters to have integrity in leadership, and hopefully that's what I can bring to the U.S. Senate.
You mentioned about the 2 mass shootings moments ago that have happened, unfortunately, in the state of Michigan here, around our area. You've been very outspoken about gun control. What needs to be done federally? Yeah,
so the biggest thing to me is universal background checks. So anyone buying a gun in any way needs to go through a background check so that you're not mentally ill or someone who shouldn't have a gun. Number 2, safe storage, right? This is the exact story ripped from the Oxford High School experience. If you have a weapon and you have a child under 18 in your home, you should have to lock up that weapon so they can't get access to it. And if they get access to it and commit a crime, you can be held liable. It's the exact Oxford scenario. Most responsible gun owners, I grew up with guns. I carried a Glock and an M4 in 3 tours in Iraq. So this is not about whether people have guns or not. It's about being a responsible gun owner, and the vast majority of Michiganders are responsible gun owners. But for those who aren't, there needs to be rules.
And with those rules and with the work that you have done, what message do you have to the families who are still dealing with this crisis and trauma?
Well, look, I think that in Oxford High School, that community is still grappling with what happened. It's not over when the TV cameras leave. It's a long, traumatic process to get back to something like health. And then with Michigan State, not only did we have a shooting, we had a 3-hour manhunt where 50,000 students were hunkered down, scared to use their phones or be loud because they were barricaded in their rooms or in their dorms. I think that really affected people. And I think that in my mind, sadly, I spend a lot of time talking to young people and educators about my experience with traumatic crises in Iraq and how your brain kind of rewires for a while when you go through something like that. And I have watched that happen in Oxford and now around Michigan State. And gun violence is the #1 killer of children under 21 in America. And we either decide we're going to tackle that or we ignore it, and I'm here to tackle it.
There's been a big fight the last few months, everything going on with abortion and women's reproductive rights. Where do you stand on that issue?
I mean, look, I think I stand with the majority of Michiganders who believe that women should have the right to choose. My district that I represent currently tilts pro-life, and I can't tell you how many women especially came up to me and they said, look, I'm pro-life, I could never personally have an abortion, but I've never walked in another woman's shoes and would never tell another woman how to live her life, and that's all we're asking, right? So I'm glad that the state of Michigan codified Roe v. Wade and those protections in our state, and we didn't go to a full ban. And we're watching women now having miscarriages in places like Texas and Oklahoma, being turned away, told to come back when their fever is higher, when they're bleeding harder. And I can't accept that that's okay for women outside of Michigan. So I believe that the Roe standard should stand across the country.
Elissa, thank you so much for your time and being with us and being able to talk to you and get a better idea of who you are.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, Democratic Representative Elissa Slotkin here tonight. And there are other interviews, of course, with the other candidates running for the open Senate seat in Michigan. You can check those out on our website, cbsdetroit.com. Tomorrow, attorney Zach Burns will be on our show.